Hey, welcome everybody. How can I even start? I gotta look away from the screen for just a moment.
You're blinded.
Welcome everybody. Come on, you guys. I can't do this. Welcome everybody to another episode of the YouTube Becoming a Cop. We belong to a big conglomerate of places, the Police Applicant Podcast, prepforduty.com, and policebackground.net, and robberry.com. You know what? I just invented you.
That's already taken. There's a musical artist by that same name.
You looked into a website for yourself? What were you going to do?
I did.
What were you going to do, though? What were you going to do?
Well, I mean, Robert Berry was taken because there's an artist by the same name that already trademarked it. So I'm not trademarked, but already has a website, so I can't use that.
Well, sue him.
Yeah.
Look, I did actually. I have a new one. Well, actually, it's not a new one. It's a nickname I got in 2009.
2009.
Yes, there was an incident in 2009. I will just say it was on live TV.
Huh. I don't remember that. You think I would have remembered that, Rob?
I'm sure I told you.
I'm sure you did. And
yes.
It might have been too long ago for me to remember. I don't know if it's for public consumption, but...
Oh, absolutely. It's public consumption.
What happened in 2009? Hello, El Pollo. What's happening?
So briefly, 2009, working LAPD West LA, gang unit gets in pursuit of a stolen Lexus. And this is back before LAPD's pursuit policy had changed. So like everybody in the division was in the pursuit. Went up to Kenneton State Park, went up to the very top, and then the guy went down the fire trails, and we were like 10th in the pursuit.
Those were the days.
And then I remember I was working with a classmate of mine. We went down the fire trail, not knowing where anybody was. All we saw was just dust. I remember he rolled down his window to see if he can get a better vantage point, stuck his head out the window, and immediately brought it back in and was covered in dust. We went through a chain link fence that the suspect had gone through. And so I made a right onto, what was it? It wasn't La Cienega because I was on the other side. I forget what the street was. La Brea, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going. I don't see anybody. And then all of a sudden I hear the area unit say he's on Stalker. I look up and there's Stalker. So I make a hard right. We're flying down. And I'm, of course, driving, which is how I got the nickname. Flying down. This is when the helicopter picked us up. Sees us. We squeeze through traffic, and there's a supervisor there pointing because the guy had bailed and was running north in La Cienega. So I'm like, all right, we got him amped up, make a hard right, and then he stops and doubles back on the sidewalk. And I will say officially it was ruled that I basically was going too fast. I say there was gravel on the road, which prevented my vehicle from stopping quickly enough. So I jumped the curb and went through a chain link fence. We still caught the guy, though. But I got the nickname Crasher Rob from that.
Crasher Rob. And what division were you working?
West LA.
So you're pretty far south if you get all the way to Stalker, right?
Oh, yeah. I will say, so this is actually to anybody in the audience. It was in, I believe, November 2009, LAPD West LA pursuit. If anybody can find the news clip of that pursuit, please let me know because I'm looking for it.
Do you know where it was? Do you know where it was? The news story was.
I mean, it was all over the news because it was a pursuit. So I mean, I don't know specifically what like news station, but it's got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah, because there's newspapers have archives like LA Times and all that. They have archives. So.
I've tried looking for it, have had no luck yet. So if anybody can find it out there, please let me know. That would be awesome.
Look who's here, man. Tack is here. Great Tack.
He's
What do you got,
writing
a week left or something?
him. Oh no, he just started like a few weeks ago.
Oh, I thought he was at the tail end of it.
No.
Well, welcome. Welcome. We're going to talk tonight about one thing, and then if we can, we're going to talk about another thing. So,
I mean, generally, isn't that how these go? Like we talk about something.
Be weird if we didn't talk.
I know.
you know, you guys, let me just hold on, guys. Just let me remove these two guys right here. Of the power. Yeah, we're going to talk about whether Ken still has the chops to do backgrounds and is up to speed on all this stuff. Because I have been, it has been said Ken's an old timer, which I am. I'm old school on backgrounds.
Who said that?
Nobody.
Who said you're an old timer?
Nobody. I got called that. I got called a dinosaur in Instagram one time by some guy. He must have been 20 something years old, some NYPD cop or something.
It's NYPD. Don't worry about them.
Like I wasn't up to speed or something. It was funny, man. But let's see. Chris says I'm not done till September, but I'll be the senior class for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. And El Pollo been out wanting to ask if I should message my BI. Been over 2 months. He hasn't visited my job yet either. Any thoughts or guidance? That's a tough one. I'll let Donovan take it because I know what he's going to say. But and I probably most likely agree with Donovan's answer.
Do you want to write it down on a piece of paper and then you can show everyone after I give my answer?
Is he correct?
Old Johnny Carson bit, right?
Karnak says.
It's been 2 months since you heard from him. I'd probably drop him an email, just say you're looking for a little update. If he needs any, start off with, do you need any more information? But 2 months, I don't think there's anything wrong with reaching out and just politely just kind of shaking the tree, seeing if there's any information they might be able to provide. Ken, are we on board?
Well, what basically happens is candidates sometimes fish for information.
Right.
Background investigators know it, but there's nothing wrong with if you haven't talked to them in 2 months, to go ahead and shoot them an email and go, hey, so just trying to catch you up. You know, I wouldn't suggest doing it too much.
No, not at all. 2 months is a long time for not hearing anything.
Yeah, it just depends on the department and stuff like that. We used to. I don't know if they still do it or not. Backgrounds used to have us contact the candidate within like 7 days of getting the background, even though we knew we weren't going to touch it for 3 months. And the candidates would get all excited because we talked to them, and then they wouldn't hear from us for months and months. But as far as as he hasn't done any employment checks, and he probably hasn't done any residence checks yet.
He did a neighborhood check. The next comment down.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see.
Got to keep moving along. I suppose I could have brought it up.
Let's see here. Yeah, sounds good. Thanks. He did do a neighborhood. Okay, so he did that. And so that means that he's doing the field work, and he hasn't done any employment checks yet. So he is starting the field work, which means normally that they started the background. But why there's a holdup, all of a sudden he hasn't done any employment checks, don't know. But if you want to send a little message out to him, you can. Donovan, I also wouldn't sweat it if he doesn't hear something back immediately.
I wouldn't either. No. They're busy.
Yeah, they're busy. Hope that answers your questions. Let's move on here. Let's see here. We're going to see if I still got it. And we're going to start with the PHS. The PHS, personal history statement, PHQ, personal history questionnaire, the application. Those come in all shapes and sizes, all kinds of different ways to access it. I'll just start. I'll give you the thumbnail, my thumbnail view of it, and then you guys can tell me if I'm on the money or not. I still review PHSs from across the country. And sometimes from Canada. They're all the same to me. PHS is a PHS. And the difference is because some are You guys, some departments still make the candidates print out the PHS.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Fill it out. Okay,
Yep.
that being said, so there's paper. I see paper PHSs. I see online PHSs. I see PHSs that have to be filled out online and then carried in. So, in my opinion, the PHSs, except for some of the questions, the PHSs are either online or you print them out, or you handwrite them. So, am I wrong or am I right?
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, I think more departments probably use the online version because it's easier.
Yeah.
It also depends on the department. Bigger department, usually they're gonna have their own. Smaller department, might have their own too. Like I know Torrance PD, it was like 50 something pages because it was not only the PHS, but then additional questionnaires on top of that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
took forever.
I was talking to somebody about Riverside County Sheriffs, and they went to ESOF.
Yep.
But before, hi Donovan,
Soon to be no longer.
because they were bought by
Vetted NeoGov.
NeoGov.
Yep.
But when they went to it, they had that ESOF was like a beast. For when they tell me that, I got to fill out this ESOF thing. I go, oh my gosh, see you in a couple months, And then Riverside County Sheriff's also had a poly PHS, and Donovan, you explained that to me not too long ago. But I think now Riverside has combined the two. But if you had to fill, and their poly PHS was over like 200 questions.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Ventura County Sheriff's does this. I think they do the same thing. Yeah, you do a PHS, and then for the poly, you got to fill out separate paperwork.
No one's been able to explain to me why in the world in polygraph we do that, especially when it's an internal polygraph examiner. If it's an internal polygraph examiner with that department, why are they not just using the personal history statement? It's the same questions.
They are.
Yep. They want to see if you're consistent.
No.
But I heard that too. I heard that they want to see if it's consistent. I thought you said that, Donovan, or was I talking to someone else?
Well, I'll watch for consistency. If like when I was with my last agency, we didn't have an internal polygraph examiner before I got trained. So we used an outside. He had his own packet that he would have them fill out. Well, actually, he'd fill out along with them. So I'd look for any inconsistencies there. But outside of that, I prefer just doing the personal history statement. Sometimes I think we get a little too caught up on this. Ooh, let's make sure everyone's consistent. We're trying to make people trip up, and I don't like that. I don't think it's fair to the candidates sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on the BI, because some BIs they get really hung up on, was it 3 times marijuana or was it 4?
Right?
Like,
That's why I always go with, just tell me, give me a number no more than. If you can safely say no more than, let's go there.
yeah. I don't think we're going to be asking 15-year-olds, hey, if you're ever thinking about applying to be a police officer, start counting your exact marijuana uses right now.
Right. And there are some BIs, some polygraph guys, they get really hung up on that specific number.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's why they have them. But like I say, I think they consolidated it. If anybody out there who's listening has applied to Riverside County Sheriff in the last year, probably let us know the current status of that. Because I have talked to someone probably in the last month who applied to Riverside County. I think that's where I got it from, but I can't remember exactly. But if you do know the answer to that, let us know. So, Rob, what is your experience? You had how many, like 5 agencies
That
that you applied with recently?
I mean, not recently, but I applied to. It was more than 5.
Okay, so it was more than 5. And
Right.
across the board, did you find that the PHSs were very, very similar? Well, California post PHS, you got to be the same anyways. But the format, were they online, were they paper, were what?
I mean, the smaller agencies, they either use ESOF or Guardian, they use that.
Mhm.
Usually they contract out like to somebody else. Like Gardena PD uses do you use Guardian? No, they use Palicon. They contract out with somebody.
Pelican?
Palicon, I think it's the name of it. The company.
Hmm.
I think they use Guardian though.
Oh, you're saying the PI company that they use to do
Yeah.
the background.
Okay.
Which I didn't very like because it was just weird. But yeah, I mean California is pretty consistent, whether it's on paper or ESOF or Guardian or anything like that. It's usually the same questions. I mean, they kind of base it on, the California Post PHS.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For a long time, LAPD would make their own PHS. They would kind of follow the California Post PHS, but then they would make their own, and everybody else had to use the California Post PHS. But then LAPD would go, "Well, we're LAPD," and then a few years ago, Post put their foot down and go, "No, man, everybody uses the same PHS," so they had to conform to that.
Yep.
But what about at your current agency or state? Was that pretty similar to California PHSs?
I'm blanking out on it. Probably not. I mean, I can actually take a look because I've got all of it saved.
I'm kind of curious if because the California Post PHS, Donovan, you've seen these. Are they still like 37 pages if you just look at the PHS?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So they're in the 30s. They can't really change them too much. The questions they do, but
You can.
so
And
30
it's
something pages.
Yeah, and California is always kind of funny because a lot of the times what's unique about a California PHS is the verbiage. Like you can't say marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be cannabis.
Cannabis, and everybody goes, "Let me see, Google, what is cannabis?"
What the?
It's weed. The background investigators would go, "What is this?" And then I had to go, "What is cannabis?" Because cannabis is like a big word, and marijuana is just marijuana. They just can't. You gotta. Have you, Donovan, in your studies? I think we might have discussed this. Have you ever looked at your studies? Have you ever looked at the California Post PHS background? I mean, the California Post Background Investigators Manual.
Yeah.
I'm curious
Yes, I
what that's
have.
like.
It's like a PhD course.
It is, but it's got I'm going to tell you, it's got a lot of great information in it. Again, it comes down to, I don't like a lot of things that come out of California, Ninth Circuit Court, but, but when it comes to backgrounds, they do it right. And they really have laid out the background process, what to look for. They've got the pillars that, every agency should be striving for. So they really got the background process down really well, I think.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, if they wanted, I think what I would do if I was a background investigator, pro tip, take the PDF from the website, throw it into AI and summarize this for me.
Right.
Because I only have a 15-minute attention span, and once that, it took me 15 minutes to read the preface or something like that.
Oh, see, now it's crazy because it was a page turner for me, man. I was just enthralled in that baby, reading that thing. That was a Harlequin novel to me.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Come to bed, Donovan. No, one more page.
I got to see where this goes.
This is the exciting part. What'd you find out, Rob?
It was through ESOF.
Exciting.
Yep.
So here's the difference. And ESOF is still going to be around because they're in the transition process. But ESOF, you have to create your own personal history statements. It isn't like handed to you from ESOF. Where like companies like Guardian and Vetted, they actually have what you would imagine a personal history statement looks like. And from everything talking to the people who put these together, they really base it off of California because, again, California is very, very picky on the verbiage that is used in a personal history statement. They're more picky than most states. So they figure if they base it off of California, they're going to be safe in all the other states.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pay attention to the PHS. I don't care where you get it from, whatever state you get it from. Pay attention to the questions. They're yes or no, generally speaking.
Yep.
Don't read into the question. Do not try to decipher the question on your own. Yes. Donovan, you know this. They go, "Oh, well, I didn't think it meant that," or "Let me see. Does it mean this?"
Right,
Donovan. What do you? I've been driven nuts by this.
Take it at face value. Don't There's no trick in the question. It's just read it and answer it. Well, hold on. I always recommend read the question, stop for a second, read the question again, and then answer it, and then read the question a third time to make sure you answered it.
And double check your answers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not positive about it, send me an email, get a hold of me, get a hold of Donovan. You have both our websites. There's no excuse. And, just make sure you answer the questions. And one thing you will anger your background investigator is if you go, they go, why didn't you answer this question? I didn't see it. And it's an answer that if they answered yes, it would be adverse information, but that's the one they didn't see, right?
Or the answer I've been getting lately is, I didn't feel that it applied to me.
Oh, jeez.
Entitled much?
You don't get to pick and choose which questions you're answering on this thing.
No. That's got to be like a 21, 22-year-old right there.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And so a note on the electronic PHSs, do not hit the submit button until you know for a fact you've filled it out, you read it again, you went through all the answers, even if it's not too embarrassing, have somebody who knows you well review it with you so they can see that. Make sure all your punctuation, your spelling, your capitalization, all that is spot on, because if you look like you're typing a text message, you're just going to irritate your background investigator. And Donovan is the first one to tell you that he more than once will send a PHS or send the candidate a note and say, hey, you need to fill out another PHS because this one sucks.
I've done that once or twice, yeah.
I used to do it all the time.
But one thing to say when it comes to those electronic, through Guardian, through ESOF, through Vetted, any of those companies, if you need to complete a statement, something where you're writing a couple sentences to a paragraph, type that out in Word, make sure it all goes through the word check, and then cut and paste it into that program, because in ESOF, Guardian, and Vetted, we see every little change you make in your personal history statement. If you check yes, and you're like, oh, that was wrong, and then you change your answer to no, I get notified of that. Now my question is, why did you change your answer?
Yeah. So just try and make it right. Take the time. The other problem is the other problem with these online PHSs, they don't print out correctly.
No.
If there's more than one page and you go print the whole thing out, it'll leave pages 2 and 3 off because it just prints whatever's on the screen. So I don't know. I've never found a workaround with that, Donovan. I don't know if you have anything.
I know Guardian usually prints out pretty decent. ESOF does. ESOF is it's garbage when it comes to printing, but Guardian I know printed out fairly decent. I believe Vetted prints out fairly decent. So again, glad that one is. Can't wait for them to put up the tombstone. Can't wait.
Well, I hope the new company makes some changes.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to just move over to their platform.
Good. Yeah, so they actually did. Give us the inside scoop. Did they actually buy it to kill it?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I mean, anyone in the background world knows that the owner of ESOF was suing the other companies for copyright infringement. And then when that didn't work, then they started suing agencies, saying that they were losing profit because we were using Guardian or Vetted. So it was a nightmare. Geez. It was an absolute nightmare. Yeah, he was suing individual agencies.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea. Yeah.
To get them to stop using the other ones?
Yes. Wow. And if you do a deep search, all the court cases are out there. I mean, Guardian won a bunch of times. Guardian even had in their agreement that they would pay for the defense if he sued you and all that kind of stuff. So it's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rob, now that we're talking about ESOF, how did you like your experience with ESOF?
I mean, so I actually had a pleasant experience with ESOF. To me, it was very easy just because, I mean, like it broke it down, all the sections and stuff like that. It was pretty easy to fill out. I mean, granted, I had already filled out, went through the California PHS and filled it out completely. So I knew just basically transcribing it. But it was honestly pretty easy.
Right.
I mean, I kind of liked ESOF over a couple. Like, I think I'm trying to remember Guardian. Guardian, I think I only used once. It was all right.
I was going to say, we're going to remove Rob now. I don't.
And what was I going to say about ESOF as well? Oh, one thing I did like about ESOF is you could call the agency, say, I want to review the file, and then they would send you a pin or like a one-time pin, and then you would log into their ESOF thing and then put the pin in, and the whole thing would show up. So
Yeah.
connected ESOF agencies could talk to each other too. But
I think all of them allow that now, where you can just send a pin now. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
So I think I'm okay. I think I'm up to speed on the PHS.
We'll let you
Good.
slide.
Yes, thank you for that.
Mhm.
Reference checks. My experience with reference checks is that with the electronic systems now, I think even agencies that may not use the electronic versions, they now email all the reference checks out, as opposed to hard mailing them or individually emailing them. Is that correct?
I have not. Well, I can't say that because I've seen some agencies, they email you and then they also send the hard letter to you. And
Really?
Oh, yeah. Tacoma Police Department up in Washington was one.
They do both.
They do both.
Oh,
Yes.
dang,
It was
really?
weird. I'm like, I filled this out. All of a sudden I get one in the mail. I'm like, what the?
you know what? I have gotten them in the mail.
Yeah. I think that's going to the wayside now. I don't think there's many people that do that anymore.
Yeah, there's not.
Were all yours electronic?
Yeah, there's all through email. So
Okay.
I was going to say, I haven't sent a letter for a background in probably a decade.
Yeah.
I mean, email electronic it's quicker. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you email it or if you mail it out, it takes time to get there. They have to fill it out, then they have to mail it back, and you're assuming it gets there, and it makes it difficult.
I feel like we had this discussion maybe last week about the reference letters, about adding develop references. But I think with the electronic versions now, and I would assume this, I'm assuming it only because I don't know for a fact, but it seems like if you get a develop reference and you just click a button and it shoots out another email.
Not that easy, but pretty close. I mean, the background investigator still has to enter that develop reference in as a new reference. I mean, it's just the name, the email, that kind of stuff. Nothing big. And then you can just email it out yet.
Okay. That's an easy one. I think the rest.
It is.
Also, one of the things that people contact me and they go, "Hey, so I haven't heard from my background investigator in a couple months, but they said that my references that said they were receiving their reference letters, and then nothing else is done." What does that mean? Well,
Robbie, you want to take this one? I know what it is.
I know what it is too on my end.
I mean, I have no idea, to be honest. I had that happen, and I'm like, all right.
If you haven't heard from me in a while and your reference says, "Hey, I got something in my email," that means they're not responding to the email. I'm still waiting for their responses. I just had one. I said, "Hey, I'm missing some from your references." I called them all today. They said they're going to respond right away. That was last week. I'm still waiting.
Oh, where I was going with that is that the easiest thing for the background investigator to do when they get the file is they click the button and the reference letters all go out.
Yep.
It doesn't mean your background is being worked. It's just one of the first things they do. And so if you're, to me, if your references are getting letters electronically, but you haven't heard from your background investigator, that could simply mean that was the first thing they did. They click the button, the references go out. Doesn't mean they're working your case or anything.
Yeah,
Does that sound correct?
LAPD is notorious for that because if you go into the MyPD portal, it'll say like your background investigation started, but it doesn't mean you're actually been assigned somebody yet, or that they're actually working on your file.
Yeah, that's just a note on the reference letters. Let's see here. The meet and greet. What is that? The meet and greet is where you first meet your background investigator We used to do them. We used to do them for the most part. We used to do them in person. I liked doing the meet and greets in person. It wasn't beyond me to do a meet and greet over the phone. But there are different ways of doing this now. So telephonically, in person, still being done?
Still being done.
Okay.
Both telephonic and in person are still being done. I'm not doing it because my agency doesn't allow it, but I think it's in person, I think is the best.
Okay. Is there anything else? Is there any other way that they're doing them?
Virtual,
Online,
through a video call.
Okay. I think that's how were yours done?
I mean, and mainly in person, other than my current agency, which was over the phone, and that was like all of 5 minutes. A little
Really?
bit different. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked to my background investigator for my current agency, I think on the phone once, maybe twice at the most. And it wasn't that long.
And so that was so but you were kind of you're a golden child though.
Apparently, yes. I like to think so.
That's what keep talking among yourselves. My my screen decided to go full screen for so. Thanks a lot.
Because there's a button that says to go to full screen. That's why.
Well, that's a separate button though. This is on the whole screen. How stupid this thing is.
Ken just didn't have enough of me. He wanted more.
Wow, this is weird, man. Oh, here we go. Exit full screen. I don't even know what happened there. I think I lost my mind for a second.
Assuming you had it.
So your meet and greet, Donovan. Speaking of meet and greets, I know I pretty much can peruse a PHS pretty quickly.
Yep.
And I know exactly. I pull out exactly what I want, and I do the meet and greet based on that. I've heard of meet and greets going like 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
What? I don't do 2 hour meet and greets. I do 45 minutes an hour because I don't mess around with stuff that's not going to interest me. So what's your take on those 2 hour ones?
Well, I've had some go 2 hours that have been very detailed because there are some you just want the story, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what I want. I just want the story. I don't want to go into stuff that's redundant or doesn't affect the background.
There's some background investigators who will reread every question that is on the personal history statement, re-ask, making sure that you understand the question 100%. And I don't understand it. I mean, I knew if I look at one, I'm like, yeah, I got to be concerned this, and this. There's a couple questions that I know I will always go back to and ask because they're important questions. So I'll reiterate them. But yeah, if it's a lateral officer, maybe an hour and a half, just because you have to get into their past experience in law enforcement, that kind of stuff. But I mean, I can't talk that long either.
What was your longest meet and greet, Rob?
Probably about 3 hours.
Why?
What were you doing for 3 hours? You guys play cards or dice or what?
So that was my LAPD meet and greet to try and get rehired. So there's a backstory with that. I mean, the reason why it took that long wasn't, I mean, my background's pretty simple. I mean, I don't really have much in it. But the reason why it took so long is because there was an issue with a previous rehire from LAPD who apparently, from my understanding, they were trying to get rehired. They had filled something out on their paperwork about before they joined LAPD. They basically found out this person had lied, and so I don't know how they found out. So it caused everybody to basically do the entire background for any rehire all over again, even though they had already done it previously. So, but yeah, 3 hours. That was a long time.
That is a long time, especially for you. I mean, you're gonna mess around with that for 3 hours.
I have noticed with Rob that a lot of times he says, there's a backstory on this.
Yep.
There's a
I don't know what that means, but
there's always a backstory.
There's a reason. I got a reason for that.
Hey, there's a reason for everything. It may not be a good reason, but there's a reason.
Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Oh,
All right, let's go on to the next one. So I think I got the mean greet, the reference checks, and the PHS down. So far, I'm
Sure.
doing okay. The poly, we had a whole
yeah.
episode, last episode on the poly, but let me see if I can get this right. So you've got the poly, and they've switched over from the paper poly. I'm assuming they switched over from the paper poly, and nobody's using the one with the little
yeah.
needle. That
The last guy I know using one of those ink pen units with the paper, I think he finally retired like 2017, 2018. And there was a lot of, he had to like rig it up so that all the components would work because the old machines weren't compatible with everything that we were supposed to use nowadays. So yeah, I think they're all gone. They're done.
Yeah.
So now all of the polys are on the computer, on your laptop or whatever you think.
Yep.
And the little paper needles are now graphs and they're like charts and things like that. Okay,
Yep.
so it's electronic.
Yep.
Also, there's the CVSA.
There is.
There is
iDetect.
iDetect. I
iDetect.
haven't seen that. Yeah, tell them about that. 'cause
iDetect
that's
is pretty cool. So what they do is you are in this little, it asks you questions just like in a polygraph, but you're in a little headset that you're looking at a camera, and it watches your eyes on what happens with your eyes. And it's not this down to the left, down to the right. It looks at, pupil size, all this kind of stuff. I don't know the exact behind it. There's questions whether it's a verified system yet, because again, like CVSA, the only studies have been done by those who've created the system. There's no outside studies done, where Polygraph has outside studies done.
Mhm.
So there's still question on it, but I know that with iDetect, they're moving into the world where they will have the blood pressure cuff, the pneumo tubes on the chest and just above the stomach, and then the EDA to measure the amount of perspiration in your sweat glands. So it's moving to that, and along with the eye. So it's measuring a bunch of different things. The only thing that I don't like about iDetect is, and CVSA too, is it is basing everything 100% on what a computer comes up with the result.
Mm-hmm.
You're not able to say that's not a right result because the person was doing this, that, they moved or whatever. You don't have that kind of leeway with it, where polygraph, we're watching the person. If we see him move, then we're like, we got to redo that question or whatever. So
I mean, that could be good or bad, because not to get into the whole poly debate, but a lot of people have issues with the poly. They'll get disqualified and they're like, they don't know why.
Well, they can get disqualified on CVSA. You can get disqualified
Yeah.
on iDetect and not know why either. I mean, it's all one and the same. No one ever says that these things are 100% accurate.
Right.
There is no system that's 100% accurate. What we're finding, though, is if you use iDetect as a pre-screen at the beginning of your hiring process, and then use Polygraph towards the end of your background, now you're getting almost that 100% verification that they are a person that has high integrity if they're passing both of those.
Yeah. It sounds like iDetect and maybe CVSA are those AI?
No, they're not AI. They're not. No, not AI at all. Because these have been in existence before AI. So it's just the computer just analyzing what's going on. There's no outside force. It's not sucking millions of gallons of water just for one person's test. It's just computer algorithms. With Polygraph too, we actually are able to score our charts with electronic scoring too, where we don't have that input. We can just basically hit a button and it'll score the chart for us. However, again, it doesn't look at those outside things that comes with a human. If you swallow, cough, anything like that, it's all that kind of stuff that we've got to look at as well.
Okay.
So let me be on the cutting edge, Ken, with our viewers. Cutting edge.
Here we go.
It's nothing that's going to be happening real soon, but there is a push. There's some training going on that they're talking about maybe getting away from a pass-fail on a polygraph and going to basically what psych is. low, medium, and high risk when it comes to on the integrity scale, and they're just starting to push out some training to get that thought process out there to the polygraph world that, hey, maybe this is a route we want to go, because it is kind of harsh to say, you passed or you failed. Now, again, I always go back to, you can't use that pass or fail as your determining factor. You need more than just the polygraph saying they failed a polygraph exam. You got to back it up with something. You can't just say, oh, they failed and that's it. But on the other hand, if someone passes, and I let all my applicants know that, just because you pass doesn't mean you're moving on. Something could come up that you're not moving on. So if you can't move on because something pops up, why is it that if someone fails, we can't verify, hey, maybe there was a mistake here on the polygraph, and either get them retested or say, no, it just doesn't make sense. And I've done that in backgrounds. I've had someone fail. I've went that extra mile for them because it just didn't make sense. And I was able to prove that, no, they didn't lie. I had them retested. They came out good. But so again, that's why I think if we move into this world of the low, medium, high risk, I think that's going to be more beneficial for our hiring processes as we move forward in this whole gamut of new, devices that are coming on the market.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob?
I mean, I think that's a lot of applicants will be happy with that. Because, the poly is a huge, there's obviously large debate between applicants about it. Like, everyone hates it because it's, it's not something to where it's like you might fail and you have no idea why, or some people might pass and you don't know why. It's, it is what it is. The way I look at it, it's another tool in the application process that they can use.
Right. And if it's a tool for the background investigator, that's a good thing. But yeah, you are right where people go, I failed the poly. And, are there any circumstances where somebody can go, you know what, we'll give them a pass. This is not a huge thing. Right. And I think that high, medium, low is probably pretty good. This is cutting edge information coming from Donovan Heavener.
Not going to come around for a long time, but it's the talk in the business.
Well, LAPD used to have, Rob, you can help me with this too. They used to have, what did they have? Significant responses.
Significant, no significant response.
No significant response. Admin.
Yeah, but admin okay.
Admin okay. So they would have all these other things. And for a long time, LAPD had deception indicated, but then they took that away because they said that's used for criminal cases.
Right. So deception indicated, deception not indicated is for criminal. Significant response, no significant response is used for screening or the pre-employment testing.
Okay. And then to your point about high, medium, and low risk, they have on theirs, I think they still have it, admin okay. Like if somebody cops out to something and they review it and they go, it's fine.
Right. They still have it.
Right.
I know LAPD does.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, I haven't mentioned this at all. A couple of, I want to say 2.5 years ago, LAPD came out. I got secret squirrel information that LAPD was going to cancel the poly. They were going to cancel the poly. No. And then, and it was right when, because Chief Moore didn't want the poly for a long time. And then when Chief McDonald took over, all of a sudden it just kind of went by, and it just disappeared. Yep. And there were some little things that they were that they had to do. There was some legal stuff, and you just can't take the poly away. It had to do with civil service rules and all that. And so when he came in, that taking the poly away from the testing just disappeared. And that's why it was announced that the poly was leaving. And then that's why nobody heard about it later. So that's what happened there. Let's talk about the employment check. Employment checks, I think, they've changed a little bit, but generally for me, an employment check is where you go to an employer and you look at the personnel file. You talk to two supervisors, a coworker, two coworkers, a supervisor, and maybe HR, whoever has the file. So, COVID was a game changer for background investigations. All of a sudden, everybody started doing a lot of stuff telephonically. And then once COVID was over, they never stopped doing it telephonically. I am not a fan of doing your whole background telephonically.
Nope,
I
not
want to
at all.
sit in front of the coworker. I want to sit in front of the boss, and I want to see what their facial expressions. Because sometimes you go, so how was he as a worker? He was good. Like their face is telling a different story.
Also, you see the eye roll.
So you can just tell more. I just like
Yep.
going in person and stuff. Is that the same? Am I off? What?
I would say in person is probably dwindling right now.
LAPD still does in person though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what, when I was going through the rehire process, they did it in person.
How long ago was that though?
Yeah.
What was it, year and a half ago?
Okay. So what I'm finding is more and more employers are using that stupid the work number.
Yep.
And they won't, if you go into the business, they're not releasing anything. They'll say, oh, you need to, here's our account number. You need to log in. You need to pay $7,000 in order to get the information. Yeah. And it only tells you just what their wages were and the dates they worked. And that's it. And employers are standing by that.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating.
It's hard to get information. So my advice, and Donovan, you can weigh in on this too. My advice is I would say for anybody that's going through a background, whether you know or not, your company or your former company uses the work number or some of these other places that kiss off background investigators, go ahead and try and find as many coworkers as you can, either online, if you have cell numbers, and give that information to your background investigator, and they can bypass the company. Right. Just call even if you get one coworker, it's better than getting no access to anything.
Yep. And if you have a good relationship with your supervisor and if you can convince them to, hey, if they call, can you just talk to them? If they call you outside of work hours, do what you can, because it's going to help you so much. It's going to put you ahead of that other candidate who's not doing that.
Yeah. Especially if there's an inkling that some supervisor doesn't like you or something like that. You gotta offset that with having 3 coworkers that will say that supervisor's an idiot and they railroaded the candidate. Here's 3 coworkers that will go to bat for me and tell you that,
Yep. And while we're talking about the work number, just so all of our listeners know, that's actually owned by Experian now.
Oh.
And you can set up a personal account and you can actually download for free your work history. Any employer who reported your work history to the work number, you can download that for free. So if you need those dates, if you need to look into it, it's a great place, another place to look for all that missing information that you're trying to find.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a gold mine for background investigators too, because the work number, a number of times have, you put work experience on your PHS, and then the background investigator checks with the work number. They're not going to let you talk to anybody, but they're going to list all the jobs. And whoa, there's a job here you did not disclose.
Yep.
So that's kind of important to do. I believe there are 11 states that allow employees and former employees to look at their personnel files. Or variations of the same laws.
Yep.
Only 11 out of all of our states will let you look at your personnel file. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it. California is one of them, and they have to let you see your file, and that's super important if you're in one of those states. The residence check. The residence check is checking with your neighbors. Ken's take on it, and this is the way I like to do it. I like to go, if it's an apartment complex, I go to the apartment manager. I have my waiver. I go, here's the waiver. Most likely, they're going to let you look at the file to see if you're late on rent. Were there any problems? Did the police get called to your manager's office or anywhere else? I like to go to the apartment building and door knock your neighbors that are around you, up and downstairs, behind you, all that kind of stuff. If it's a home, I go 2 houses on either side of the home and 3 houses behind. I'm not one of those guys that jumps fences and goes to the next street over and all that stuff. I try and do at least 3 houses, depending on the configuration of the street. I like to do residence checks in person. If for some reason I door knock, can't get anybody, go talk to your neighbors. They're right there, man. See if they'll give you a phone number, an email address, something like that.
Yep.
I always
Anything
drop my
change?
business card in the door frame too
Yeah,
for the neighbor.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
You're right on, Ken. I mean,
Yeah.
you like doing it the same way.
Good.
LAPD still does it that way. So
Yeah, like I say, COVID made it so these guys got lazy, and then they go, just give me a couple of neighbors, and they never really. What about the third neighbor that doesn't like you or something?
Right.
So I'm doing pretty good so far.
You're not doing bad, Ken.
yeah.
Police checks.
Ugh.
Police checks are where the background investigation unit, they check every police agency where you ever lived, worked, or went to school, and they send an inquiry, whether it's electronic. I don't know if anybody does it through the mail anymore because they've all pretty much gone electronic and emails and like that. And they check and see if you have any records with that agency, any contacts, field investigations, where they called to your house, where you stopped, anything like that. Still the same?
Still the same. I always add in where you went to boot camp too,
Oh,
because I found some
Uh-oh.
interesting reports.
but wouldn't that, if you went to boot camp there, isn't that considered a residence? And they would check that anyways, wouldn't they?
Not always. I've seen a lot of background investigators just miss that completely. They're like, oh, they're at boot camp. What are they going to do wrong? Well, when you get leave for the weekend, so.
I mean, wouldn't the military have any kind of record of that?
Not always.
Not if it's not on base, because there's a lot of off base housing.
Well,
Right.
Well, while you're in boot camp, normally the local PD will know to notify the
Right.
command, but not always. Not always. So
Yeah.
I found a couple. But this is the frustrating part. Now that we're in this day and age of, everything can be done email, online, all this kind of stuff. Now it's the game of what does each agency, how do they want to receive that request? Now, believe it or not, the fax machine is still alive and well. If you want to buy stock in fax, buy stock in some fax machine company, because for some reason law enforcement will not give that thing up. They claim is the best kept secret. You can keep all of your documentation super secret unless you dial the wrong number.
Yep.
So there are agencies that are still using fax. The one I'm working on right now, I think I had 20 some agencies I had to contact. 2 still required faxes. And now agencies have gone over. There's companies that use portals that all their public disclosures are taken care of. They have one set up for law enforcement. So you have to get a login for each agency. Remember the password, the login, all that stuff for each agency, submit that. Or you can email it. Then it's the game of who do I email it to? Sometimes it's a specific person. Sometimes it's a department person. It has become more cumbersome. Where, Ken, I think when you were doing it, it was either by mail or by fax, right?
Fax, yes. Mail, yes.
Yeah. So there was just 2 ways to do it. Some you could send the request via teletype, but normally it was just fax or by mail. Now it's a whole gamut.
Yeah, I still think, gosh, we used to use fax in the 90s, man.
90s, yeah. Even
Why are we
before,
still-
it had to be late 80s, wasn't it?
Well, I started in backgrounds in 97, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying faxes have been around forever. I remember in dispatch, forever,
Yeah, they
So-
still sell that thermal paper and all that, or is it
Yes. No, they still do that. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Now, all these brand new printers and copy machines all still have to have fax capabilities. It's just ridiculous how we do this stuff.
all? Oh, that's funny that they still do that. Okay, so I think I'm okay on that one. And then here's the last one. Rob will know a little bit about this one. Background file checks.
Oh,
To me, To me, the best way is to go sit in front of the computer or grab the paper file at the agency and look at what the background investigation shows. The telephonic way of doing it, where you go, hey, so, and you have to do that when they're out of state, but hey, so I want to go through this background, and they pull out the background and they go through it with you, the PHS with you, or anything that stands out or was disqualifying, something like that. One of the reasons the background investigators do that is because they want to see discrepancies in their background on your PHS, anything like that, or if you got DQ'd, they want to see that. I don't, unless it's an ESOF situation, it's still the same thing. You're sitting in front of a computer reviewing the background. Is there another new way of doing it?
I don't think so.
I'm going to tell you, I mean, yeah, it's, and when you say it's a computer, very rarely have I gone to an agency where I had to sit in front of a computer. I can think of like maybe 2 that I've had to sit in front of it. Most of them print them up, and I don't know why you want all these paper files, but they have these paper files yet. And you sit there and you go through it, every page, which is fine. I mean, but when you say you had laterals, if they're out of state, you'd have to go do it over the phone. My agency, we spent the money. We went to that agency.
What about if it's
Really?
a candidate?
A candidate, yeah. Well, yeah, a lateral candidate. Yeah, we would go to the agency.
No, a new hire.
New hire, no, because there's no agency to go to.
Well, if they complete a background investigation,
I see. If they just a PHS, no, we wouldn't do that. But if it's
you would do it telephonically.
Telephonically, we would do it for candidate lateral. We would go to the agency.
Oh yeah, we would
fly and go to the agency.
Wow.
But yeah, the background files, yeah, you got to rely on those.
Right.
But it's one of those things, yeah, that ESOF and all those companies are making it easier to share that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that your experience, Rob? Did they call these agencies?
Yeah, I mean, now you're talking about, when you say background file, do you mean backgrounds of other agencies? Like, for instance, let's say in my case, other agencies have applied to have gone into backgrounds?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or a PHS.
Yeah, I mean, they 100% still do it. It's mainly telephonically, though. They might get an email about it, is my understanding, but yeah, very much they do that because that's how they catch people in lies a lot of times.
Yeah, because there's different ways of, like, if it's an app only and there was no PHS, nobody cares about that.
No.
If you get a return back and it says there's a PHS on file, I like to look at it, unless it was a drop dead DQ and I'm like, this is beating a dead horse. I'm not going to continue to look at all these PHSs because it's a drop dead DQ.
Yeah.
But if it's 2 or 3 and they did the background, then I want to see that file. And yeah,
There was one agency in Washington. They had it set up slick. They used an FTP, and it would be a secured link, and they would send you a password, and it would be timed. So you would have, like, I think it was like 5 days from when you logged in. You'd have 5 days to review the file, and it was set up so that you couldn't hit print or anything. You couldn't even print screen, anything like that. That was pretty slick.
Yeah, that FTP was going back to, like, oh, man.
I know.
80s.
Yeah,
right?
That's like so long ago.
I know, but it's like the fax, man. It still lives on.
Yeah.
File transfer protocol, I think it was.
Yeah. So they'd set up an FTP site that, their IT had, and it was secured, and it worked out great.
Well, I know, but
what are you going to do?
Let's see what this White Hammer says. If I've been in the Army and have a clearance and background check, does that make the background easier, faster for the Leo BI? I have an answer for that. I'm going to let Donovan take this one.
No, you answer this time. I've written my answer down. So
the answer is no. They're different. Apples and oranges. They're completely different, and they have different requirements and things like that. But even if you do pass any kind of a background, the background investigator still has to do a background for their agency. And so, and another thing is the background investigators don't have access to that military background, that clearance. And so we don't get to see it anyways.
right. Yeah, and to me, someone who's in the military, it actually ends up being a little longer because it's harder to get a hold of people. I always tell people if you're in the military right now, make sure you have the personal phone number and email address to your supervisor, commanding officer, whoever it is that's in direct line of you. Makes it easier for the background investigator because if you want us to play games through that army.ml whatever email system, it's going to take forever.
Yep.
It's military is difficult. And the other thing too is remember that when you're submitting a DD 214, it's the member 4 page. We need the member 4 page. That's the one that gives us all the information we need. Don't give us the member 1 where half the stuff is gone and all that. So member 4 page.
Yeah. And another thing about the Donovan's right on your coworkers. If you're in the military and you are going to be getting out soon, get your whatever unit you're in, get the email addresses, personal telephone numbers of people that you worked with, because once you get out, those people are shipped off here and there, and then they're all over
Yep.
the world and you can't find them. And it's just best if a background investigator can email your former boss, your coworkers, or even like send them reference letters too, because they would like to talk to those folks. But a lot of people lose contact with their military buddies once they get out, and the background investigator's stuck. So, Whitehammer, I hope we answered your question. Thanks for asking it. Okay, that's all the stuff I have. Do you guys have anything else on that? Because I think I did pretty well. I think I'm up to speed.
So I'll give you one more, Ken. This is a question that comes up every once in a while.
Okay.
And we tend to offend people. So now someone goes for a federal background clearance, not the military, federal background clearance. They go through the whole process. Now, did they have to go through a background with the police department?
If they complete a background on the federal side.
Federal side, some super three-letter agency, whatever it is.
Yes.
But why, Ken?
Because it's the same
It's
thing.
a federal background.
Those don't mean anything. They're just like any other background. And if you pass a background with another agency, you still have to go through our background, and it's the same for federal side. Although they're super wazoo secret.
And we've just been getting inundated just recently with that question from all these people coming from the feds. Why do I have to go through your bag? I have the clearance. I don't care.
Not all backgrounds are the same.
Nope.
Background checks.
They are not.
No. And it's the same thing. Same thing with like polys. They go, I failed a poly here. And the thing about that is you failed a poly over at this agency. Why are we giving you another poly? Because you have to pass our poly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or you have to pass our background. So that's the whole purpose. Otherwise, if you passed a background with ABC agency and they go, oh, he passed a background, let's hire him. Yeah, so it doesn't work that way. But
Nope.
Thank you, Whitehammer. Appreciate that. Yeah. Any other, Rob, you have any other things that?
I don't. I think you're off the hook. You know your background and the process, so you're good for another year.
Yeah. That's, surprisingly, I've looked at quite a few Canadian PHSs and the backgrounds. They're almost exactly the same. Almost all the questions, the process, everything.
Yeah. And what can you do to really change the process? There's not a lot to change the process.
You're still asking for the same information. I mean, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so many things you can ask about. And again, Donovan and I will stress this very importantly. If it's not on the PHS, you really don't have a reason to disclose it. A lot of times we don't want to know it.
Right. Yes. Don't overshare.
Don't overshare.
No.
What's this one,
Whitehammer.
Donovan?
This is Whitehammer just saying, he's doing everything right. He's getting all the numbers and emails.
Good.
So yeah, stay in contact with those guys. They're a lifeline for you.
Yeah, and get a hold of myself or Donovan. Now that I'm thinking about it, Donovan has a book here. Hang on just a second. Mastering the Police Interview. You can scan the QR code. You can also go to his website. How can they get a hold of you, Donovan, on your website?
At prepforduty.com. That is prep4duty.com.
Yeah. And he has an ebook. He has a ebook with a workbook, and you can also hire him to do in-person consultations. And he's got
virtual, not in person. I'm not
Virtual.
coming to your house.
it only costs $7,000 for Donovan.
There is a price. Yeah, there is a price. If you want me to come to your house, there's a price.
He's not going to fly to your house though. And I also have a book, Police Background Investigations Inside the Mind of a Background Investigator.
That blue just pops on that, Ken. It just pops.
It pops. And if you need to know everything there is to know about background investigations, how background investigators do it, and bada bing, we just went through this book. I just got the verification that this book is still up to speed on backgrounds.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Is there a stamp we need to put on it, Ken? Verified by Rob and Don?
Verified Rob and Donovan. Rob and Donovan approved.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, guys. Anything else on your guys' minds?
Not right now.
Donovan?
No, there's a lot on my mind. Nothing to talk about today, though.
I just want to make mention, Donovan is in his new podcast studio. He's got his amazingly handmade
Wow.
blue line flag.
And I can take no credit for it. It is 100% my wife. She wanted to do it. She did it all. So
I think she may like you. I don't believe that, but I think she may like you.
Well, she's on a 6-month sabbatical from work right now, so she's just waiting to go back and board. So I think that's why she did it. She wanted
Just
a
stuff to
project.
Yeah, it came out great. I like it a lot.
It did turn out really nice. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in my podcast studio, home office / golf cart garage. So
There you go.
hopefully soon I'll be sharing with a golf cart in here. So
There you
Nice. You can tootle around the neighborhood and stuff like that.
me and the dog.
You and the dog. And Whitehammer says, thank you, guys. I'll be getting in touch for virtual soon. I'll be watching the videos also. Very informative. One thing I want to mention about that, thank you, Whitehammer. There are other channels out there that talk about background investigations and all that the process and stuff like that. We try and go a little deeper and get to the nuts and bolts of how all this stuff is done. We try not to just throw information out and go, hey, so this is blah, 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 like that. We want your guys' input. We want to talk to you guys. Tell us your experiences and make sure we're answering your questions. And so that's why we think it's pretty important to do these lives. Also, one thing about the lives is there are 2 reasons that we do the lives. One is because we get to talk to you guys and answer all your questions. The other one is I'm too lazy to edit videos after we record them. These are live. They're live and they're on YouTube as soon as we get done. So I think that's pretty good.
Working smarter, not harder.
There you go.
Smarter, not harder.
And when it comes to those other places too, just keep in mind, check them out if you're going to get information from them. See what their credentials are. I mean, me and Ken have been doing backgrounds forever. I'm not going to say what we found with some of those other companies, but they have some knowledge, but they can't say they've been doing it the number of years that we have been.
Yeah, and one thing I do like is that one of the reasons that we did this episode is because Donovan is still doing backgrounds. He's done them for several agencies in Washington, and now he's in Nevada. So Donovan's really up to speed. If there's something that I come across that I'm go, hey man, I haven't heard about this before, and tell me about it, Donovan's up to speed on that. And we work together every day on the stuff that we do. And another thing about if you're getting information on the internet from any other sources, my recommendation is that please make sure that the people that you're getting information from, please make sure that they at least have one background investigator on staff, that they've done backgrounds, because that's super important to me. But with that, I think that is it. And we're going to come back next week and let's talk about AI next week then, because we ran out of time.
Do AI next week.
There you go.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.